Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs, and today we are going to be finishing up our leprechaun hat, and this is what we have of it so far. And we are going to chain one and turn. So this is row 26, and row 26 we're going to start decreasing on both ends. So we're going to do this decrease, and also in row 25 we want to pay attention that you should have 25 squares in row 25, so that's important. So we're going to slip stitch in the first two stitches, and then you're going to start your square in the third stitch, which is the single crochet and two doubles. And we need two of these dark greens. And then we're going to switch to blue. So we're switching over to blue. I have a little bit of a calming music in the background. So we have the blue. We need two of these, two blues. Alright, and now we're going to go to green, so we need to bring both of these forward. Bring the green in. And since we're done with the gold in the last row, last two rows ago, we only have three colors we're dealing with now, which is good. We need two green. And then I am switching to my dark green. If you're using dark green, that's fine. Otherwise, that color was black. How did I do that? All right. All right, and I need three of these. So, like I said, my original color when I made this pattern was black. If you're using black, then you want to use three black. But I decided to use the dark green as instead of the black. As you well know, if you did the first part of this, you'd know that. Hang on, I put that in the wrong stitch, didn't I? Yes, I did. Alright, so there's three there. And then I need to go to the green. And we need 9 green. So There's one. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Seven. 8. 9. And then we're going to go back to the black or dark green, whichever one you're using. I'm using my dark green. And we are needing one of those. So one dark green, and then go back to the green, and we need one green. And then we need to go to the blue. And now we need two blue and two dark green should finish up this row. So there's one. And two. And then here's the dark green. What the heck? All right, hang on a minute. We're not carrying. What did I carry that green for? And this is the last one. And then we're going to slip stitch in this stitch right here, because this is our corner, and that is row 26. And there's what it looks like. All right, so let's mark that off. And row 27 is next. So we're going to chain one and turn, and we're going to slip stitch in the first two stitches, and in your third stitch you're going to start your square. And then we're only going to use one dark green, and then we need to go to the blue. And we need two blue. And I actually need, I carried that green over there, so I need to bring this green back with me too. I didn't mean to carry it that far, but it's no big deal. We'll just get it up there and get it going. Alright, so I need 2 blue. And then we're going to go to dark green. Or, if you're using black, then black will be in this one here. So one of these, and then we need to go to the green. And then we need 1 green. And then go back to the dark green or black. And we need 2 of those. And then we're going back to the green. And now we need 8 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And now we need to go back to the dark green or black. And we need 2 of them. One. 2. And then back to the green. And we're going to need 2 green. So there's 1. And 2. And then back to the dark green again. And then we only need one dark green, 2 blue, and a dark green will finish off this row. Yes, that's right. All right. go into the blue. And we're leaving this green behind. I don't need that green. We're just taking the dark green with us at this point. Yeah. All right, that back there. And then right here is the last one. Oh, and I forgot, row 26. Also, you should have 24 squares in row 26. So in row 27, you should have 23 squares. So it goes down by 1 square. When we started building up, it kept going up by 1 square. And now it's going down by 1 square. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to mark off row 27. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. And start our square in the third. And we're going to switch over to blue then. And we need 2 blue. Goodness. And make that stitch right. So there's 1. And 2. And then I'm going to bring both of these forward. No, actually we need black or dark green. I'm using dark green. So we're going to go to that, and I need 5, but I'm going to bring this green up with me. Goodness gracious, what did I do? I'm going to try to... That... It won't... I should have never carried that green over that far. Alright. I'm going to switch over to the dark green again. I know if I try to make it there, that won't be as bad. And I need, what did I say, 5 dark green or 5 black? I'm just going to go ahead and take this out because this ain't right. We're going to start this row over, but I have to go back and fix this. on this side, on row 27. I should have never carried that green that far. That green actually should be here. Goodness. Now, we need a dark green. I apologize. It just won't be right. All right. So, I mean, in case this happens to you, then you'll know why I'm doing it. It just didn't look right to carry that green up that way. Come on. The blue stays. This is the last one on this row. And then we'll start row 28 over again. I had to go back and fix that. So. And now, chain 1 and turn. Slip stitch in the first 2. And then start to square in the third one. And then we need to bring in the blue. We need 2 blue. This is row 28. It's 1 dark green and 2 blue so far. And then I need to go back to the dark green. And I need 5 of them. All right. Pumpkin, what are you doing? All right. This is much better now. So there's 2. Three. 4. 5, and now we're bringing in the green, the regular green, and we need 7 of them. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going back to the dark green again, or if you're using black, and we need 1 of those. And then back to the green again. And we need 2 green. One, 2, and then back to the dark green. And so we need 1 of them. And then we're going to do 2 blue, and a dark green to finish off this row. Oh, wait a minute. I keep forgetting not to carry that green. When I get to the end here. And then back to the dark green. And then this is the last stitch right here. The last square, we'll say. And then slip stitch to this first stitch. Then chain 1 and turn. And we're going to get ready for row 29. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. And start our dark green square right here in the 3rd stitch. Now we need to go to the blue. And we need to put 2 blue in. So there's 1. And 2. And then we need to go back to the dark green. Or if you're using black, you need 5 of these. So there's 1, and then we need to bring up this green and bring with us. So let's not forget that. Two, three, four, and 5. And then we're going to bring this green in with us as soon as I figure out. Wait a minute. We're going to need 7 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going back to the dark green again, and we will need 1 dark green here. And then back to the green. Where'd it go? And we need 2 green. One, 2, and then back to the dark green again, and we only need 1 of those. So let's leave that green behind. And then back, now we're going to the blue, and we need 2 blue, or is it 1? Hang on a second, let me make sure that we did this right. Alright, so we're in 29, aren't we? And this is what happens whenever I don't cross off one. Because we just did 28 all over again. So now I've got to pull that out. Alright. You think that today is Monday, and it's actually Tuesday. So none of this is right. So this has all got to be pulled out. I thought that row seemed familiar. Alright, so the blue was probably right. Hang on a second. So 1 dark green and 2 blue. That was right. And now we're going to bring in the green. Bring this forward. Bring the green in. We need 3 green. One, 2, 3, and then we're going to dark green. We need a dark green here. And then back to the green. And now we need 7 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we need a dark green. So we'll bring that back. And then we're going to bring the blue in. And as we need 5 blues. Five blue and a dark green should finish up this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, and 5, and then come back with the dark green, and okay, I'm about ready to quit. I'm so in this stitch, honestly. This pattern is throwing me off big time. I need to throw this green back there and not carry that. Three. Well, that's 2. This is 3. 4. 5. Bring the dark green in. And this is the last stitch, which is dark green. Honestly. Alright, so it looks like we just finished up the rim here. Let's mark off these rows. Row 29 is done. Row 30 is next. In row 30, you should have 20 squares. So, So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start our square in the third. Alright, we're bringing in the blue, and we need 5 blue, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we need a dark green here. And then bring these forward. We need a green next, and we need 6 of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going back to the dark green again. And we need to put a dark green here. And then back to the green. And now we need 3 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then come back to the dark green and put a dark green in, just 1. So there's 1. And then we need a blue and a dark green to finish off this row. So come back to the blue. Wait a minute. Dang it. Why do I keep doing that? I don't want to carry that green. Yes, so 1 blue and 1 dark green will finish off this row, and you should have 20 squares in this row. This is row 30. to slip stitch here. It looks like we're almost getting finished with the hat. So cool looking. Alright. Hang on, where's my green marker? Alright. Row 30 is done. And we need row 31, which is chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, make our square in the third. And then go over to blue, and we need 1 blue. And then we need to switch back over to the green, or the dark green. And we need 1 dark green or black, whichever one you want to use. Bring these 2 forward, switch over to green. And we need 3 green. Yes. 1, 2, 3, and now we're switching back to dark green, and we need 1 of them. And then we're going back to the green, and then we need 6 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then we need a dark green, and we're going to leave this green behind. We need 1 dark green in here. Okay, 4 blue and a dark green will finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring in the dark green. And that we're going to put in the last stitch right here. Come on. slip stitch there, and this is row 31. Alright, so 31 is finished. On to 32. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. And start our square in that 3rd stitch. Switching over to blue, we're going to need 4 blue. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then we need a dark green here. And then we're going to switch to green. And we need 5 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Back to the dark green. And we need a dark green here. And then back to the green. And we need 3 green. Now be careful you don't pull them up out of there. So there's 3 green, back to the dark green, and we're going to leave this green here. And now we need a dark green, a blue, and a dark green. We'll finish off this row. And then here's our last one. Why is that stitch always loose? And then slip stitch here. And we are done with row 32. Awesome. Alright, so 32 is done, and I don't know why I did that, but I am going to go to this side. $33 is next. So chain 1 and turn, and we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start our square in the third. And then we are going to go to blue. We need 1 blue. Back to the dark green. One dark green. Bring these both forward. We need to pull the green out, and we need 3 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. And then we go back to the dark green and put a dark green in. And then back to the green. Where'd you go? And now we need 4 green. One. 2. 3. 4. So we're going back to the dark green, and we need 1 dark green, but not carrying that green with us. We'll leave that there. And then back, go to blue, and we need 4 blue and a dark green. We'll finish up this row. There's 3. And 4. Last square is dark green. Right here. And so row 33 is done. row 34, chain 1 and turn. We're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, and then in the 3rd stitch you start your square. And we need to come in with the blue. Then we need 4 blue. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. Alright. We need the dark green. I'm going to put a dark green in here. Then we need to go to green. And we need 3 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. And then go back to the dark green. We need a dark green here. And then back to the green, and we need 3 green again. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Back to the dark green, and we're not going to carry this green with us though, leave that there. We need a dark green here. And then we need a blue and a dark green. We'll finish off this row. And there is row 34. Row 35, you should have 15 squares in this row. So we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, and then in the 3rd stitch we're going to start our square. Then we're going to go over to blue, and we need a blue. And then we get back over to dark green, and we need a dark green. And now we're going to switch over to green. And just like before, we're going to do 3 green, 1 dark green, and 3 green on this hat. So there's 1. 2. 3. And then back over to dark green. Excuse me. And then back over to green. And we need 3 of these again. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to switch over to blue. But we're going to let this green stay here. We are going to need 4 blue and a dark green. We'll finish off this row. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And then here's our dark green. Alright, chain 1 and turn. And that was row 35 with 15 squares. Row 36 is next. We are going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, like we always do, and start our square in that 3rd stitch. And bring in the blue. We need 3 blue. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then we need to bring the dark green back. Put a dark green in the next one. And then, alright, for the hat, we're going to do the dark green, which we just did. We're going to do 2 green, a dark green, and 3 green. So, bring these forward, bring in the green. So we need 2 green. Bring back the dark green. And put a dark green in here. And then go back to the green. And now we need 3 green. So there's 1. Two. And 3. And we're coming back to our dark green again. And we need 1 dark green, 1 blue. Wait a minute. I don't want to carry that green with me. Goodness. So 1 dark green, 1 blue, and 1 dark green will finish off this row. Oh, wait a minute. We need to switch over to blue. And then the dark green. There we go. Slip stitch. There. Alright. We are just about done with this hat. Look at that. So that was row 36. And row 37. Next is next. So we're going to slip stitch, chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, and then in the 3rd stitch we're going to start our square. Alright, go to blue, and we need 1 blue, and then we're going to switch to the dark green again. And we need 1 dark green. Oh. And then we're going to switch to the green. And we're going to put 5 green in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're switching over to the dark green. We're leaving this green behind, and it's just the blue and the dark green now. So we're going to put a dark green in next. And then switching over to blue, and we need, whoops, I don't want to tangle these up. And then we need 3 blue and a dark green to finish off this row. So there's 1. 2. And 3. And then we're going to put a dark green in this last stitch. And slip stitch here. Alright, so there, yeah, we are just about ready to finish this up. So there is 37. Chain 1 and turn, and we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to start our square in the 3rd stitch, and then we're going to bring the blue in, and we're going to need 3 blue. So there's 1. 2. And 3. Bring in the dark green. So we're going to do a dark green. We're going to bring these forward, bring the green in. We need a green. A green, and then go back to the dark green, and put a dark green in. And then you need 2 green. And a dark green. No, we don't need that green. Leave that green behind. And then we need a blue and a dark green to finish up this row. And that is row 38. Row 39. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start our square in that 3rd stitch. Switching over to blue. We need 1 blue. And then we're going back to the dark green again. We need 1 dark green. And then bring these both forward. We got to go to the green. In this hat, we are going to do 2 green, a dark green, and another green. So we're going to start out with 2 green. There's 1. Now we're going to switch over to the dark green. Switch back over to the green. And then we're gonna leave this green behind. We're gonna switch over to blue. And we need 3 blue. I think 3 blue and a dark green will finish up this row. One, 2, and this is 3. And then switch over to the dark green, and this will finish up the row. And there we go. And there, oh yeah, and there is row 39. Alright, now we're going to start row 40. And row 40 you should be down to 10 squares. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. And then start our square in that 3rd. Alright. Bring in the blue. We need 2 blue. And then we need to go to the dark green. And we need a dark green here. And then we're going to switch over to the green. And we need 3 green. And a dark green. For this hat. So there's 1, 2, 3. Switch back to the dark green. So we're going to need a dark green, a blue, and a dark green to finish off this row. Slip stitch, and there is row 40 with 10 squares. All right, row 41. We're going to chain 1 and turn. We only have 9 more rows left, folks. We're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start our square in a third. Now we need 1 blue, and then go back to the dark green. And we need 2 dark green. I think this is the last time we're using the green. Yep. This is almost the end of the hat. So we need 2 of these. Let's bring this green up though, because we're going to need that next. Bring these forward. And then we need one green. It's 1 green and a dark green. So back to the dark green. And 2 blue and a dark green will finish off this row. That green's going to be cut off anyway. So there's 1 and 2. All right. That was row 41 finished. Row 42. So there is no more green, and I am going to cut off this green because we don't need that anymore. Now we're just dealing with the 2 colors, which is the dark green and the blue. So we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. This is row 42. And then we're going to start our square in a 3rd stitch. And then we're going to bring in our blue. We need 2 blue. Ouch, ouch. Alright, now we'll switch over to dark green. That way. And we need 2 of them. And then 2 blue and a dark green to finish off this row. And that finishes off our hat as well. Alright, back to dark green. And then slip stitch, and there is row 43 finished. No, 42. We just finished row 42, not 43. Sorry about that. So now we're going to do 43. These last few rows are going to be easy. So we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and then start our square in the 3rd. And then we're going to switch to blue, and we're going to put 5 blue in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 5, and then we're going to put our dark green in the last one, and you are down to 7 stitches in this row. Alright, so that was row 43. Row 44. We are almost done with the blue. Alright. Uh-oh. So we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches like we normally do, and make our square in the third with the dark green. And then we're going to bring in the blue, and you should have 4 blue and then the dark green at the end with 6 squares. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the dark green, I don't know why that stitch seems to be a loose stitch when I change colors there. And then slip stitch, and that is row 44. Row 45 is the last row with blue. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to slip stitch. We're down to 5 squares on this row. So we're doing like we normally do, and then we're going to be alternating this blue and this dark green in this row. So we're going to do a blue and then back to the dark green and do a dark green, back to the blue and do a blue, and then back to the dark green, and then the last one is dark green. And then slip stitch, chain 1 and turn. Now that was the end of that blue. Let me look at this. We have four more rows left, and all of them are going to be dark green. So this is really getting easy now. And I'm just going to cut off this blue because we're not going to need it. And we're going to start out row 46 as slip stitching in the first 2 like we normally do. And then we're going to start our square in that third stitch. No more changing colors. Now we're just doing straight. So in this square, you're going to need 4 squares actually. In this row, you're going to need 4 squares. And there is the 4 squares. Alright, so chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch up to the third stitch and do our first square. In this row, you're only going to need 3 squares. So that was 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and turn, and we're going to slip stitch up. And that last row was 47, this is 48, and this row 49, or 48, you're only going to need 2 squares in this row. So there's 1, and 2, slip stitch, chain 1 and turn, and then this last row you just need 1 square, and this is row 49, and we're going to slip stitch here and cut it off. Alright, let's see our diamond. Oh my goodness. Alright, so here is the diamond, and you could see the hat. You have to figure out which side you like the best, and it wouldn't matter. Whichever side you like the best, that'll be the side you'll use. So anyway, I am going to tie down all of my ends, and then we'll be back to show you how to put the border on. Okay, so we're back, and we are going to put the border on this. So you'll have to figure out what side you like the best to make it a front or a back. I mean, they're both about the same, but the hat does turn a different way. So I'm just going to start on this side because it really doesn't matter. Well, I need to make that. Wait a minute. Come on. Okay, we've got a slip knot. We're going to start at this corner. So we're starting with the 2 long sides together, but we're going to start at this corner and go this way. And we're going to put 2 half double crochets in there, in that corner. And I really, really wanted to sew that end in. I mean, not sew it in, but work over it so I don't have to sew it in. Alright. Goodness gracious. We have a bit of soothing music in the background. Alright. So we're going to put a half double crochet here in the next stitch. And And then you should have 2 stitches here. And then the next one will be 3. And you could tell those 3 because those are the ones that we, well, on 2 of them anyway, we slip stitched over. Alright, then you'll see the 2 stitches here, and then 3, and you'll just continue doing that. We're putting a half double crochet in each one, and then we're back to the 2 stitches right here, and then you'll see the 3 right here. So you just go all the way down to the next corner, and you should end up with about 59 stitches in all on this side. So I will meet you at the end of the corner. Okay, so we're at the corner, and in the corners, in all the corners, we're going to be putting 2 half double crochet, chain 2, and 2 half double crochet. So now we're going down a short side, and on the short side you're going to see double crochets. So you're going to put 2 half double crochets around that, and then the next spot is a space, and then there's a we did 3 of them in that 1 stitch, and then you'll just continue with that. Next one is a double crochet, so it's like doing 4. So at the end of this row or this side, you should have about 49 stitches, because it is a shorter side than this, because we have 2 long sides. I don't know if you could see this, 2 long sides and 2 short sides. That's why it's a diamond and not a perfect square. Anyway, so then what you'll do is you'll do your corner, go down the other short side, which is pretty much the same as this one, and do your corner and go down the other long side. And I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so I'm all the way around there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this corner by putting 2 half double crochets in it. And then I'm going to half double crochet in the first half double crochet to make that corner. Now I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to put 2 half double crochets in this corner. And then on the sides, you're going to go front loop only. And we're going to do a half double crochet in just the front loop only. Because we're doing half double crochets, it makes this really neat thing on the side there. So we're going to do this all the way around, and we're going to do the corners the same. It's 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. And I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so now we're all the way around there the second time. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. This is the front side. Okay, so we're going to put 3 single crochets in this corner and in every corner. you'll be putting 3 single crochets. Then you're going to go to the back loop only and put a single crochet into it. So we're going to do this all the way around, making sure that you put 3 single crochets in those corners. And there's what it will look like all the way around. I hope you guys had a lot of fun making this diamond with me. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye now.